Let's have a sesh on market research. So market research is about collecting information about your consumers' needs. And you're trying to collect information about your consumer needs because ideally you want to be able to work out what their needs are and then sell something to them. If you gain that information on your consumers' needs, then it's likely to help create or improve your marketing mix. So help improve those 4 Ps, the price, the product, the promotion, the place. It could be one of those 4 or multiple options from them. And usually you do market research in the research and development phase of the product lifecycle. Now there's 2 types of market research that you need to be aware of, and they are primary research and secondary research. Primary research is when you do original research and you do it yourself, so you do all the work. Examples of that: focus groups, where you might have 5 to 10 people in a room and you'll ask them questions about your product or prospective product for the future, or they might be testing your product out to see what they think about it, and you'll get feedback to help you improve the product potentially, or what price you could charge at, where you should be selling it, and perhaps how you should promote it. So relating back to that marketing mix, you might do surveys. So you might do surveys with lots of qualitative and quantitative questions, so questions about words or numbers and you could do that survey through the post, through telephone, or especially now, in order to get a higher amount of data from that survey, you might do it online because you're going to get loads more surveys, loads more results back, and that's going to make your survey probably more accurate because it's a bigger sample size. Testing. So particularly with electronics, you might want to test the products. You might want to get people to come in and test the product to see if they like it, and they can give you feedback about how you could improve or enhance the product ideally. So products, services, and also outlets as well. So we've seen with Amazon recently, they've opened up the Amazon Go shop that you just walk in, pick up what you need and walk out without paying, and it's just connected to the technology that Amazon has. But they have opened up a few stores to test this at the moment, and then in the future the plan is to roll out, following the testing, all of these shops elsewhere. So that perhaps is a form of testing and primary research. They work out how to make these stores exactly perfect, that they can maximize their revenue and hopefully their profits in the future. The advantages of primary research: well, you can design quantitative and qualitative questions tailored precisely to your needs, what you want to find out about your product or your price or your place or your promotion. So you can really ask penetrative questions that will answer what you need to know. Number 2 is that if you manage to get some fantastic information or data back, then you can use this. It's like a competitive edge. It's a trade secret that you might have over your rivals, and you can exploit that in order to make more sales and more revenue and hopefully more profits in the future. But there's problems to doing primary research. The main one is it's seriously time consuming to do focus groups. The surveys, for example, you need to write the surveys before you do the surveys, and then you need to analyse the data you got from the surveys. All of that's really time consuming. And also, you're going to have to pay someone, a worker, an employee, to do this for you. So there's going to be labour costs, so it's likely to be very expensive in this whole process. Let's look at secondary research now. So secondary research is using existing data that's already been created. So you're not doing the research yourself, you're using someone else's research. Examples of that: research by marketing firms. So lots of firms will do market research and you can purchase it from those firms. That's ideally good. That's good for you because it's cheaper than you doing it yourself. You're getting a company that specialises in getting research and you just take the information that they find out. Government publications, the internet, for example, are all ways and methods that you can get secondary research. The advantages of getting secondary research versus primary research is, look, it's likely to be much quicker than going through all this process. Also, in the case of the internet, it might actually be instant. You can get that information straight away on demand. Number 2, it's likely to be cheaper because you haven't had to get the labour force doing it, like the disadvantages of primary research. So it's likely to be cheaper. One thing you must remember, it's not going to be necessarily free doing secondary research, because in the case of marketing research, you need to pay for it. So just please be aware of that. Right, so disadvantages of using secondary research. Well, the competition, your rivals, they could also have access to these marketing research, to these government publications, and to all the access on the internet. They also can get that. So you don't have that competitive edge that you had with the primary research, because with primary research, that information is exclusive to you. With secondary, it may not be exclusive to you. And number two, research may be too broad or out of date. Look, in the case of marketing research, it might not be the exact marketing research that you care about. Maybe it's about how you could promote your company on social media and you don't really want to promote your company on social media. There's lots of examples where it's not relevant precisely to you. With a primary research, you can tailor it to yourself. Also, government publications, that could be statistics on growth, GDP, on inflation, on unemployment. And this is constantly changing month by month by month. So you might be looking at it, but it might be last year's data. That's of no help to you. You want the data from now. And if this comes up as a longer question, here's the further analysis you might want to consider. So firstly, well, maybe you want to, before you do primary research, you want to see what secondary research exists first. And that will help you work out if firstly it's worth doing primary research, given all the costs, and secondly, precisely what primary research you're going to do. The key is don't reinvent the wheel. If something already exists in secondary research, don't waste your time and money on the primary research to do it. Number two is the size of these samples are really important, because the higher, the larger the sample, the more likely the data, the research is accurate. And usually by using online surveys, you can access more people, and more people may lead to more accuracy in your surveys and actually give you that competitive edge that could help you improve your marketing mix to make your product banging. Number three, small businesses. Well, small businesses might want to use primary research over secondary research because it gives them, if they manage to get some sort of trade secret or competitive edge, well, they've got it and they can exploit that in order to make further revenues and profits in the future versus the larger firms that they may be up against in the market. I hope that helps with market research. Good luck.